Hello, everyone. We are looking today at Killer 7. This game literally leaves me speechless. Of all of the weirdest games I have ever played, it is this one. This is the weirdest game you will ever play. Not just from the dialogue, the presentation, the sound design, even the actual gameplay is very strange in itself. Very, quickly, it's this thing where you're on a locked kind of pathway and you kind of turn around, but you're going through these environments and you can hold the right trigger to enter firing mode and then press the A button to shoot. And the enemies, you also need to scan the environment because the enemies are invisible and they have these little balls, which are the weak points. And if you hit those, they die. And that's, a pretty basic outline of the combat. The bosses are pretty much the same thing. You just have to shoot them, whatever, run around and move. Again, only in a linear path that is on rails. And as well as other things like puzzle solving, finding the right objects, putting them in the right place, and making them all work. And that's a very basic outline understanding of what this game is. It's very easy to understand, but the setting and location and aesthetic of Killer 7 are a lot. Where do I even freaking begin? I'm sorry. This is a really hard game to review. I will say though, I love this game. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It is by Suda51, who made the No More Heroes series, and I believe it was right before this he made a game based on the Blood Plus anime series, which I find very interesting. And so that kind of tone of game is kind of represented, here, where there's, blood and chaos and madness and all that kind of stuff. It also has this little cool cutscene when you reload your gun, obviously. And of course, he would go on to make No More Heroes. So in Killer 7, you basically control 7 assassins. Each one of them has a different weapon, a different loadout, and a different sort of, personality and a different style of, special effect. There's a guy who runs really fast. There's another guy who's able to snipe and everything. And so these 7 assassins are basically the Killer 7. However, the story is just absolutely insane. It ranges everything from, America nuking Japan to, again, out of Oblivion. Different characters questioning if they even exist. There's a whole kind of, thing around, the alliances of politicians and pedophile rings and celebrities, and it just goes crazy and insane. And because it's done in this weird cell shaded style, gameplay, it feels kind of less real. The enemies themselves are called the Heaven Smiles or the Heaven Smile, and they are these. They're called terrorists, but they are essentially these almost mythological creatures who laugh and scream when you kill them. And this really is a very different Suda-tone than No More Heroes. No More Heroes is a lot more fun and interesting and uplifting. And this one has a friggin' guy in a gimp suit who speaks to you in garbled text. I think my brother played this game for 10 minutes and he said, okay, I can't do this. And but for other people like me, I'm weird enough to kind of dive in and be like, okay, so what's going on here? It's insane. There's also your main apartment where there's screaming coming from the basement and you have no idea what's going on. There's a whole concept about, what is reality? Are you really the person you say you are, or are the Killer 7 parts of your personality? Are there other things that, are going on? There's a lot of gore in this game, and because it's done in a cel-shaded style, it doesn't feel real, There's also a lot of references to anime and other funny kind of stuff in this game. There's just a lot of weird symbolism with the moon. The characters and villains are very interesting. I would say one of my favorites perhaps of all time is probably Kun Lan, who is this terrorist, but also the embodiment of Eastern imperialism or something. I don't want to say that. It sounds too cliche and contemporary, but it's something like that, you know? But this whole thing feels like, honestly, like a weird drug trip. There is just so many exceptionally bizarre things. And I really wish I could stop saying that and just kind of get on with the rest of the game, but that's really what it is. It is just a bizarre, sadistic, convoluted mess of a story, and even the ending is something I still think about today, because the ending is very, very esoteric and not direct in exactly what the meaning of it is. Of the kinds of Killer 7 weapons you'll use, there is, of course, snipers, shotguns, grenade launchers. There's one guy who's a Mexican wrestler. Like, it's just like all over the place, but it has such a distinct vibe and such a fascinating story if you can actually piece it together through all the convoluted, strange dialogue. And the dialogue of these characters is some of the best. Kun-Lan is just incredible, along with Harmon. You just have scenes in this game where, again, I've said Suda51 is kind of like the Tarantino of, you know, Japanese video games, and his scenes and, you know, actions and scenarios in this game really do speak to that, because they are really just, you have no idea what's going on, but you almost don't care because it's so interesting. Again, this game involved things like corrupt politicians, pedophile rings, you know, espionage, psychological metaphysical, ideas. The game is decently long. There's only about 5 or 6 levels, but they do have a lot of content in them. There's a lot of different scenarios and characters you meet. A lot of really mind-twisting scenarios. The soundtrack is really good. There's a lot of really great upbeat songs, but you feel like you've entered this realm of this fake idea of yourself where you are an assassin, and you live in this world that is a figment or a reflection of the real world. And it's this very, very strange, weird aesthetic that I absolutely love, but it's incredibly violent, incredibly disturbing, and incredibly strange, and still one of my favorite games, perhaps of all time. So yeah, you're not only embodying characters, but also concepts. The environments are highly, simplified and abstract. And again, you need to piece together what's happening. There are also anime cutscenes, fully animated anime cutscenes in this game for other different scenarios, other different characters. Just this game has a bit of everything, and it is the most interesting, fascinating game I've perhaps ever played. It really is fascinating and weird and messed up, and I love it for all of that. I've never played anything like this, and I can guarantee I never will. I don't think Suda51 in any of his works can actually get back to how weird and insane and fascinating this game was. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'll leave you guys with that, and I would recommend this as like in my top 10 easily. So I'll leave you guys to make up your own mind and enjoy. See you later. Bye.